Okay, today we're going to be playing Ultimate General Civil War, and more specifically, we're going to be playing with the J&P Rebalance mod. Um, this is a mod that changes up some of the gameplay features, makes it a little bit more interesting, in my opinion. And so I'm just briefly going to show you guys the summary here of what the changes are. Some of the most important ones being that stats and perks are more important. Some of the weapons and perks have been changed, and damage tends to be more morale focused rather than destroying the enemy unit. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next page now. So this also just uh, goes ahead and tells you a little bit more about the changes that they made, about how officers they can be wounded or they can be killed, um, as well as some of the supply changes, and that the weapons that are repeaters or revolvers now use a magazine-based firing system, which means that they can fire very rapidly for however many bullets they're supposed to be holding, and then there will be a longer reloading period. And then we'll go ahead and keep going. Um, Fortification changes, penalties to stealth, some other interesting changes as well. Here's how the soldiers being wounded has changed, which is very interesting. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And then one of the more interesting changes is that whenever your soldiers are wounded, they will heal after the battle, and then they go into your veteran pool. And so your veteran pool is made up of those wounded soldiers. It remembers their stats, and that is how you reinforce your units with veterans, um, which is very interesting in my opinion. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start a new campaign. Start from the beginning. You have always dreamed of becoming a military officer like your father. You feel it is your destiny to serve your nation, earning glory with honor on the battlefield. And then I'm going to go ahead and go strategist. You have graduated from West Point, specializing in strategy, learning that hard training is crucial for an effective army. I like the training bonus. This will make our soldiers a little bit stronger as recruits. They'll have uh, slightly better stats. Now let's see here: artillery, infantry, cavalry. I'm gonna go with our infantry again to get that training bonus. You served as an infantry officer at the Battle of Monterrey. You earned great distinction for your role leading the assault upon the town. And then our choices here are business, army, politics. I'm going to go with politics because the politics bonus is really good. It will give you uh, more money and more soldiers whenever you win a battle. After the war, you entered politics. Your sterling reputation and skill at managing men helped you become a United States congressman. And lastly, we're going to go with the Union on this playthrough. The South has seceded and the United States is under attack. You have sworn to defend the Constitution and vow to help restore the Union. The manpower and material advantages of the North will surely overwhelm and crush the rebellion, and all men will be made equal under the law. And then I'm going to go ahead and play under Brigadier General. We're keeping this a pretty casual uh, channel, so I'm not going to be killing myself playing on Major General or Legendary difficulty. And yeah, so let's see. It says you are a veteran commander who does not need additional support or assistance of any kind. A great challenge awaits you, and you are up for the fight. Great. And then we're going to save or create a name here. We're going to go with trigger. And here's how our points are distributed. We've got 3 in politics, 1 in economy, Nothing in medicine. We'll need to bump that up later. 4 in training, 1 in army organization, 0 in logistics, and 1 in reconnaissance. And down here, you can see a nice little summary of what our points are getting us. So we've got a really good increase to our income, a little bit of a discount. Veteran cost is down, recruiting is up. So this is how many soldiers we'll get after a battle. And we'll go ahead and start the game now. General, our main objective is to secure this small town and its railroad station. According to our scouts, the garrison should not exceed 3,000 soldiers. We must capture the town before rebel reinforcements arrive via railroad. It's advised to use your vanguard to clear the town's perimeter from skirmishers or other threats. The rest of your forces are en route and will arrive from the southwest. Assault the town when all your forces are present. Your reinforcements arrived. Head to the town. Oh, this is different. I'm not used to the reinforcements being deployed up here. Usually you just advance from the south down here with these units, and you take over this town from the south. So I'm not actually sure what is causing this change. But we're going to go ahead and roll with it. I'm moving these units up here. There's usually a little skirmisher detachment or 2 up here, and so we're going to take out those skirmishing groups and then move into the city from the south, and then we will get our units up here organized. So these 3, I believe, are going to belong to us. We've got Loomis, Walton, and Scales. These will be with us after the mission. We'll also keep Woods. I don't think we keep Stockton, and I don't believe we keep Bristow. Something else to note about this game is that the speed of the game has been slowed down. So it makes for more deliberate movement of your units, and it makes also for longer days. Like you have more time in order to compensate for your units moving slower. But it means that things might not be very exciting here in the beginning, but we will we'll try and spice things up here in a minute. I'm going to send my general forward, see if we can't do some reconnaissance with our skirmishers over here. All of our units have an effective range of 400, which is good. You'll find that some of the early game rifles, they only have some of the early game guns. They only have 340 for their effective range, which makes them a little less useful. Okay, we've got artillery firing on us. Let's get these skirmishers over here in position to fire on Burns. Get these guys in position. Let me see if I can't. I really need these guys to, transport with the horses. That's great. Looks like we're not taking fire yet. Okay, there it is. Great. So we're going to try to move around to their flank over here. Shooting units on the flank will do more damage, both to the unit and morale damage. So we just want to try to get those bonuses as much as possible. Our advance into the city is uninterrupted. Still bring up the artillery. How are we doing down here? Looks like we're fighting over here, which is good. Our skirmishers are going to fare well in this engagement. And we've got a pretty good position on their artillery. There we go. Sorry, I was trying to figure out the hotkey to halt my units. It was spacebar, in case anyone was wondering. Okay, so this is how you make them stop. I'm going to eliminate this artillery because it is going to be hurting us at such close range. Ask them to pursue that unit. We're still over here. I believe in this game, height matters. So if you're shooting from a higher position, I believe you do more damage. But I haven't confirmed that. I just think I remember reading it or seeing it somewhere. We'll have the general come over here and see if we can't get a vantage point over here to see more of the battlefield. Looks like these cannons surrendered, so we're going to try to get them back. We're going to turn scales to engage these skirmishers over here. We'll turn this artillery piece as well to engage scales, or to engage Sill skirmishers. Bringing up Stockton here to help. Let's see how we're doing over here. What is this? There's some. Seems like there's some unit coming up over here. After this volley, I'm going to have this unit move a little closer. The closer you are to the enemy, the more damage you're going to do to them. Of course, the inverse is true as well, where they are going to be able to do more damage to you. That's okay. I think actually we're going to turn Zook around to deal with these skirmishers who've come up behind them. We're going to try to get Schaefer over here into a flanking position. Stockton's doing great. We're routing Law. Let's get Zook's first brigade to stop and fire there. It seems like a good position. Also, if you've never played this game before, these three arcs represent the range of your artillery, and more specifically, the type of ammunition that they're going to fire within these ranges. So this closest arc here, they're going to be firing canister shot, which is going to do a ton of damage. Within the second arc, they're going to fire shell, which also does a lot of damage, not as much as canister. And then the third arc is going to be shot, which is they're firing solid cannonballs. And generally speaking, we're not going to want them firing shot. We're going to want them firing shell or canister, because those are what's going to do the most damage. Looks like Sill is coming back. I'm going to have Stockton come over here. We'll reposition these guys. We'll keep Zook coming. Let's see, what are these guys good at? They got good speed, good charge damage. So this is very much a melee focused brigade, and this is as well. I'm not a big fan of going into melee. I much prefer to shoot it out. Scales sit back here in the cover of the town. Ideally, we'll be just in range of this bridge. They will have next to no cover on the bridge, and we'll do a lot of damage to them there. We've got Walton in this fortification. We've got Bristow getting ready to fire. Nice. Okay, things are looking good here. Looks like we routed. I think it was that unit of skirmishers, which is good. We're going to bring Zook's 2nd Brigade over here. Let's get them running so they move a little faster. With this mod, it's going to be very important to manage the condition of the soldiers. Every time they drop in terms of condition and in terms of morale, they're going to be a less effective fighting force. So this tired, eager unit is not going to fight as well as this fresh, heroic unit. So we just need to be mindful of that. And part of why I don't like melee is because it will exhaust your troops very quickly. Looks like these soldiers are hopefully recovering their condition. I want these guys in better cover. I'm going to charge here, just for fun, because this is a melee-focused brigade anyway. While I don't like using melee, it certainly has its uses. Yep, we got them to surrender, which is great. We'll be taking these rifles, or rather these muskets, for ourselves once this mission is over. See how everyone's doing. Yeah, so we've captured Philippi, which is good. Let's fire on these soldiers who are on the bridge. We should do a lot of damage here. It's fairly decent damage. Okay, we're gonna hold fire here. We don't, like I said earlier, we don't want them using up their ammunition, firing a shot, and we can do better than that. Actually, yes, let's get you guys to turn and fire on Root's unit. Maneuvering these skirmishers into position to fire on McHenry. And now we have Law charging in on Stockton. That's why this unit is flashing yellow, and also you can kind of hear their charge. You can hear their cry, the rebel yell, perhaps. We're going to try to have Stockton fall back. Well, I was having him fall back, but then the charge stopped, so now we're... putting them back in the fortifications. Got Loomis coming over. Saw that unit over here, so we're going to turn off supply here because we're getting supply from the town. We're going to countercharge. We should win that because our unit has more veterancy and it's focused on melee. I'm going to turn these artillery pieces around to fire on cell. Looks like Stockton lost their brigade commander, so now they went down to the next officer. We're going to have Zook take cover in this field over here. Good. We got McHenry to surrender, so we will put him over here in our POW train. See, does Loomis have a does Loomis have a clear line of sight to hit Law? No, they do not. So we're going to bring them up. Okay, Sill's unit is backing off. That's good. Got these skirmishers over here. Brute's still over there. Okay, Law is coming over the side, which will open up firing angle for Loomis. Got Zook over here. They're still in good condition, so I might run them over. These units are pretty tired, so I might rest them for a bit. Again, we're firing shot. Let's not do that. Let's hold our fire. I'm going to move Stockton over here to help Scales. I know there's another, here we go, Burns is over here as well. We're going to move the general back to this position, which gives us a better vantage point on the battlefield. Our mission timer is coming to an end here, so we need to get ready for that. Sometimes this will send us to the next phase of a battle, sometimes it will end the battle outright. It partly depends on what battle you're playing and whether you've achieved the victory conditions. And as you can see, we've achieved ours, capture Philippi, and here it's listed as the only victory condition, so we're doing okay there. And we will get ready for the next phase of the battle. We'll keep bringing our prisoners into the town. And we're going to have Woods open fire since he's going to be firing shell. Bristow is going to have to wait. We're just out of range for shell ammunition. And just in case you're wondering, I have them here. I have this skirmisher unit here, resting and also providing defense for the surrendered units, because if the enemy makes physical contact with these surrendered units, they will actually get them back, which would be a pain. We don't want that happening. Zook's had some rests, or I should be more specific. The 2nd Brigade of Zook has had some rests, so I'm going to move them up to try to get some shots onto Root's flank over here. Let's move Loomis up. Let's move Zook's 1st Brigade up. Don't want to get caught out here. Sorry, I clicked it too quickly, but it said that there was a counterattack incoming. So now we're moving on to phase 2 of the battle, and we'll read about the situation. So the town is secured, but the rebels are determined to retake it. We've prepared some entrenchments to stop their assault. Multiple enemy regiments approach from these roads. The most serious threat is the armored train coming down the rails. Without cannon, we will have great difficulty neutralizing it. The good news is that we've got reinforcements en route, which include strong artillery batteries. They should arrive in about an hour. It's going to be a hard fight, General. Ready to receive your orders. Okay. So as I was saying before, we need to get these guys in line. We'll get Zook's 1st Brigade over here. We'll get Loomis over here. Reinforcements are coming. Excellent. We want them here as soon as possible. We've got 2 more artillery batteries coming up. And another supply wagon. Scales is fresh, Walton's fresh, Zook is fresh, Loomis is fresh. So all of our units here on the front line, they're in pretty good condition. Again, these units are looks like Root's unit is still here. So we'll deal with that. Sorry, earlier I was going to say that the units are in shot range, so we want to hold our fire again. I also want this artillery battery to come back just a little bit, because when these infantry units get into combat, there's going to be collateral damage where bullets that are aimed for these men, some of them will fly past and hit units behind or around them. And so we want to minimize how much our artillery is going to get hit by that collateral damage. I'm actually going to move Woods a little bit closer over here so that he can open up fire. Looks like these units down here are making a move, which is not ideal. I was hoping that would not happen. I'm going to bring Loomis back to help deal with them. These guys are moving really fast. I wonder if that's a bug. They're moving so quickly. Let's get Zook's 2nd Brigade a little bit more in the tree line here. Oh. Let's start hitting these Confederate forces coming in. I know this is going to be shot, but oh well. In this case, I think it's worth it. Put Schaefer in this fortification. Zook is still fighting the good fight over here. These artillery are moving really quickly. They must be horse artillery. To be outpacing the infantry. Let's have Bruce come over here and help Zook. These guys, we're gonna want them. We're gonna want them coming to help out with these Confederate forces in the north. Yeah, it looks like they're staying put, not advancing, which is fine. It gives us more time to get our reinforcements into play. Oh, it looks like we completely shattered this unit here. Whenever they shatter, the unit is just completely gone. You can't really interact with them anymore. They're, of course, not usable for the enemy. Let's get scales forward a little bit. What else can these guys do? Canister. Really good canister units. So these guys want to be in the thick of it. And we might soon be in the thick of it. We're going to have these guys... oh dear. I didn't realize how far out that artillery piece was. We don't want our cannons moving to do counter battery. They are okay where they're at. I'm gonna have both of these units fall back actually. We'll let if those skirmishers want to cross the river, they can. They can get through Stockton's unit. Yeah, we're doing on supplies over here. Doing well. Let's stop getting supplies out over here just to conserve our supplies. It's like the main force is going to be over here, so I'm gonna put both of our horse artillery units over here on this flank. Let's get Loomis in position. They've backed off. We'll have Milroy take up a more defensive position. All right, here they come. Let's get Loomis in position to fire on them. Let's go ahead and get Walton in on this action. We'll keep Scales over here just to keep an eye out if anybody comes. Let's see. I'm going to put both of our pieces firing on Hatch. We'll get some good collateral here. Also, Hatch hasn't taken any damage, so they're probably they probably still have good morale, and we want to try to hurt that morale so that they don't charge into us. Let's get Loomis ready to fire on Parrot if necessary. I'm ready to put Scales into the fight since we have our other units coming in. Now let's get Zook in here. Let's get Colquitt. I want Zooks to be in the reserve over here. And we'll get Milroy across since he's fresh. We'll put Bruce into a defensive position for the moment. Looks like Scales is going to be engaging Grant up here. Now, there is that Confederate armored train, which should be coming up here any moment now. And when they come, we're going to have all of our artillery pieces focus on that unit. We also, as much as possible, want to be focus firing with our artillery. So let's all focus on Revere over here. At least that's what I want to do. Let's focus fire. Another train is coming in. Looks like it's not quite in range, so we're going to hold off for now on telling our artillery to manually engage it. Looks like they're taking a firing position, fire on Zook. So let's get Zook turned around to engage. Colquitt is going to be in the reserve over here. There's just no space on the firing line. Okay. Now this dryland Merrimack is coming into range. We're going to have our artillery start focusing it down because it's got cannons on it and it is going to do a number on our infantry up front. I'm actually going to have Loomis take a step back. He's a little far forward and we don't want him taking too many casualties since we will have him later on. Let's make sure. Oh, there's a lot of charges coming in. Oh, they have a scales. Interesting. Let's get Colquitt up here. Just in case the line starts breaking. Well, I didn't want Loomis to take that much damage, and here we are. They're taking a lot of damage. We're going to charge Colquitt in. I want Zook to get a little bit closer, and then we'll charge him in. We're going to move Bruce over here into the combat. Looks like we lost. Oh, nice. We've captured a unit. we want to make sure that they don't run into Wheeler, or else Confederates will get them back, which we do not want. Okay, and now we need to all focus fire on this dryland Merrimack. He's going to cause us problems once we take care of it. Let's move Trigger back over here. We need to get our morale back up. Let's get Milroy up here. Oh boy, Loomis is getting flanked. Doesn't have a good kill-death ratio. That's not great. Walton has a really good one. That is fortunate. We want to see that good kill-death ratio. Alright, they've got the train withdrawing. We did enough damage to where they don't want to be here anymore, understandably. Looks like we'll take that out here pretty soon. Excellent. Train is down. Got Loomis over here, he's recovered. Bruce coming in. Scales. Scales' morale is a little on edge, but it looks like their bigger units are in retreat. Which is good. We'll go ahead and get Scales up here, get Bruce up here. We're going to try to push them back a little bit, just for the fun of it. Yeah, looks like those units to the south are done. They're retreating again. We're just up here fighting skirmishers and a couple of remnants. Go ahead and move this artillery out of the city. Cities are great. They provide really good cover, but they also decrease your damage. So now that most of the fighting is over, we're going to try to get our artillery out of the city so that they're doing maximum damage. We'll get Scales up there into that good cover. Got Bruce coming up. Looks like the Confederates are rallying. Let's get Bruce moving on the double quick up here. Let's get them engaged. Where's Trigger? Get him up here. We need more morale up here. We'll see if they get off a last shot. And that will countercharge. Another unit that's shattered here. I don't want Scales chasing that anymore. Let's get our artillery firing on this charging unit. Oh, excellent. This unit surrendered. Get them to the POW camp. These are decent rifles, not amazing. Or muskets. I keep saying rifles. I don't want anyone to come at me about whether they're truly rifles or not. I just keep saying it. But these are muskets. Okay, another unit is charging in. Try to get everyone focus fire on this charging unit. Try to break their morale before they get too close. Milroy should be able to get a shot in just before. Got another unit charging in. So now everybody try to hit this. Everybody try to hit their scales. I want this unit to break before it makes contact, ideally. Okay, nice. Oh, Colquitt. Colquitt, come up here. Great. We shattered those units. We can go ahead and move in. These guys are advancing again from the south. I'm not too worried about them. Let's get Zook advancing. Let's get Colquitt, of course, up here. Walton, join the fray. We'll just focus on pushing back the enemy as much as possible. But we have broken the back of their assault, so they won't be taking this town. They will not be taking Philippi. Let's see. We've got pretty good morale up here. Let's bring a trigger down to improve morale down on our right wing. See if we can't get up here and do some damage to this artillery piece. Oh, I don't really want it to be Walton that draws their fire. I'd much rather it be Milton, who's not going to be with us in the future. Try to get Colquitt more on the wing here, more on their flank. Okay, McElroy is charging in. They're gonna take a shot. Let's get Walton up here. Okay, we're gonna conserve. Not really conserve our ammunition, but we don't want to fire again while we're supposed to be charging in. Good. Colquitt is on the flank here. And now we charge. The reason we didn't charge from further out is charging uses a lot of stamina. And you only get it for a limited period of time, so we want to maximize the time that they are getting a melee boost from charging. I believe they also get a speed boost as well. Great. We took their artillery. Still have some thorns in our backside over here, but they aren't bothering us too much. We'll just keep the pressure up. And here at the end of the battle, it doesn't matter that we're shooting shot. We're not losing supply, so shouldn't be losing any money because supply costs money. We've used up all of our natural supply, or I guess the supply that was here in this town, but our cannons won't be running out of ammunition anytime soon, so we'll just let them fire, and every time they fire, they gain a little bit of experience that goes to improving them, and I certainly have no problem with that. And we should be ending here in any minute now. So we cleaned up pretty well. All right, let's see. So we came into this fight with about 10,000 men. They were close to 12,000. We had artillery superiority. It's pretty good. Casualties not too bad, you know. They lost 4 men to each of our to one of ours. They lost 4 for every one of ours that fell. Stated in a more coherent manner, and that's also not including their soldiers who've gone missing. So yeah, we had a pretty good fight there. Trigger got promoted. Excellent. Love that. Sorry, got wounded. Dan Sanders. Here's an important screen. Here we get to see all of the equipment. And so rescued means that our units were using it, and those units fell in combat, and we were able to recover their weapons after they fell. And so some of this is from like our own. Some of it is from our own units, which actually were killed in the battle, and then you also get a reward for protecting the gift units, sort of these units that don't really belong to you, but you get to use them for a battle. So that's why we managed to rescue so many weapons. And then captured, of course, every time you destroy an enemy unit, you get a percentage of their weapons. I don't remember off the top of my head what that percentage is. And then also when a unit surrenders, you get, I believe, an even larger percentage of their weapons from the unit that surrendered. So we've got a lot of Mississippis, a lot of reboard muskets, some carbines down here, which is good. Well, we got a campaign medal, very exciting. 2 career points, 3 reputation, some money. Oh, Walton got a promotion. I'm going to have, like I was saying earlier, I really like my units to be focused on firing. So I'm going to give him musketry proficiency. It's going to increase his accuracy, decrease reload time, and decrease the morale damage received from being hit by enemy fire. Go ahead and take a look at the other perks as well. We've got maneuver proficiency. This is going to make your unit move faster, reload a little faster, turn a lot faster. So this is probably useful if you have units that you tend to keep in the rear, or units that you're going to have in a reinforcing army. They're going to be able to move around the battlefield pretty quickly. And on your normal units, I mean, it's just going to help them move faster and probably pursue routing units. And then lastly here we've got bayonet proficiency. That's going to decrease the morale damage you take in melee and from being fired upon. You get a nice speed bonus, and you do extra charge damage. So that's really useful. I definitely see the upside of having it, but most of the time I'm just not going to want to put my units in melee. In my opinion, it's not going to be for the best. And you know what? I'm open to being wrong. I'm not going to say I know everything about this game. I just enjoy it. I'm just a casual guy. What can I say? Just enjoying the game. So anyway, we're going to lock in musketry proficiency for sure. These are kind of little flavor messages that you get. They're kind of interesting. They're kind of fun to read, but they really don't have much impact on the game. Sometimes it'll tell you how much the enemy army size is increasing by, which is kind of helpful because over here you can see what their estimated size is. And the larger this number becomes, the more units you're going to be fighting against in your battles. That doesn't mean they're going to be bringing, 28 to 33,000 in every battle, but it's sort of an indicator to tell you how strong the enemy is. And whenever you inflict casualties, you actually are able to affect this number and either bring it down, or if let's see, we'll go back to the report, or if the number of soldiers that reinforce is greater, of course that number is going to go up. So in the last battle, we inflicted 6,000 casualties, and now they're reinforcing with 14,000. So of course um, in that situation, they have a larger army size theoretically than they did at the beginning. And then you've got these two other values here, which are going to tell you the training, or basically the veterancy and the stats on enemy units, and then armory. That's going to tell you how good their weaponry is going to be. So the lower this value is, the more likely they're coming into the battle with muskets, and then the higher the value, they're going to be using better quality weapons. So one thing I want to take a look at here is we've got one division here, and we're able to put 4 units in it. I'm gonna look at this battle real quick. We're gonna see how many units can I bring into it. 8. So we can bring in 8 brigades. That means if I just go in with my one army, this is gonna be disastrous, because I really should have 8 brigades. So those of you who don't play this game, you might be wondering, how do we get more units? We're gonna go into career, and we got 2 career points, so we can allocate these and increase these, I don't know what you would call them, traits? Not really traits, but increase these values, which will affect our army. So first of all, we need to go with army organization, because this is going to allow us to raise another division, and that will be very helpful to get up to 8 brigades total, 2 total divisions. And then also I'm going to want to put more points into politics, just because I want to be increasing how much money I get after each battle. And I was just reading this because I didn't realize that politics also applies to reputation. That's very interesting. Just going through and making sure I'm not surprised by any of these others. And this is also an opportunity for you to see what all these attributes are good for. Reconnaissance, I tend to not use, but because spotting is a little useful, the weapon recovery multiplier is a little useful, but just generally speaking, I think most of the other options are better. One thing we are going to need to put some points into is logistics. So after every major battle, so here we've got a major battle, and here's sort of like a side battle, a minor battle, I guess you would say. After every major battle, our armory is going to reset, and it's going to introduce new weapons. We're going to have more weapons in stock. As you can see, look, we've got 14 of these Springfield M1861s that we can buy. But then after the next major battle, this will restock, and hopefully will also be allocated a greater number. And logistics affects that. So I do want to put points into logistics eventually, and I tend to do that the minor battle before a major battle, so that after the After the major battle concludes and your armory restocks, you are getting access to these multipliers, which will increase the amount of weapons that they have in stock. Okay, so let's, as I was saying earlier, let's go one into politics and then one into army organization so we can have a little bit better, a little, or so we can have some more units. Also, the officers that you use, that's going to be really important. I'm going to stick a I'm going to stick a pretty basic colonel in here because it looks like you can go down to lieutenant colonel as a division commander, but you're not going to want that because the lower your officer skill you have, the more it's going to affect the efficiency of your units, and you do want your units fighting effectively. And so now I'm going to go ahead and create 2 infantry units, probably a cavalry brigade and an artillery brigade. Or I could move one of these guys down here and create some skirmishers up here. Maybe later, maybe later. Skirmishers are very useful, but here in the early game, we don't have access to great weapons, and you're going to want to give your skirmishers really good weapons because they're useful, but only when they have quality equipment. So we'll go ahead and raise 2 infantry brigades, we'll give them majors. Let's see. Mississippis are useful. So I don't want to give a green unit Mississippis. Reboard muskets are okay, but they're also fairly useful. We'll give them these Springfield M1842s. And same here. Let's give them a major. We'll do a cavalry brigade here. And this one we will leave it a captain because these are smaller units. Let's see what we want to give them. Whether we want them to be melee focused, which they do have. They do have a pistol that they can use, but it's very close range. You get one shot, and it's a very long reload time. So we definitely will be using that, but they're going to be mainly melee focused. I'm just trying to think, do we want to do that? And I think we will. This will just give them some versatility. If my units are able to rout an enemy unit, we can send the cavalry in and they can do some really good cleanup. And so here what I'm doing is I'm just looking at, if you add more soldiers, how does it affect your efficiency down here? And as you can see, they're not very happy with my division or brigade commanders. They would have liked to see someone higher than a captain leading this brigade. But it is what it is. It is what it is. It's going to be fine. And he'll get promoted pretty quickly. Last one we're going to do here is artillery. I'm not going to give them a captain. I'm going to give them a really low ranking major because I want to be able to equip my artillery with, or I want my artillery to dish out damage. And for this one battle, I'm just going to give them 6-pounders. They're terrible, terrible cannons, but I fear that if I give them good cannons here, right? If I just give them 10, 12-pounders, and then we lose a couple of cannons, we're just down. We're just down several cannons and don't want that to happen. So sometimes I will send them out with inferior equipment in the early game, just because if they lose some 6 pounders, it's no big deal. Will they do a lot of damage? No, but these early battles are kind of like just getting your feet underneath you and learning how the game is played. I'm also going to keep them at 7 cannons because the 3-inch ordnance uh, rifled guns are really good, and I want to be able to use them. 12 pounders are really good. I don't know why I can't go above 10 there. I wonder if that's I wonder if this is a glitch, or if this is something that's due to the mod. Because I'm fairly certain you can go above 10, and I have in the past. I'll need to look into the configuration files and see what's going on there for sure. Because I definitely want to have larger artillery brigades than 10. Okay, but back to business here. We're going to increase this to 7. We're looking good. Let's give my corps commander trigger his perk, so we can give them better speed, we give them better charge damage, we can give them greater accuracy, which is what I'm going for. I'm a big believer in that accuracy. And then I'm going to increase these units to about 1,000 men. I think that's a pretty good spot where efficiency starts to dip a little, but not too much. Oh, these men can only go up to 2,000. Yeah, I think there's something funny in the mod files that I need to take a look at, because I definitely want to have larger brigades in this. And then here, we'll see where efficiency starts to dip drastically. Oh, it doesn't dip at all. That's awesome. I mean, it is of course going down, but you'll see there's a breaking point where efficiency just goes down a lot. So here it's going down a little bit, and you start to see that it really starts to go down. So here's kind of that window where it's only going down a little bit, but then it really starts to fall off, and you can probably see it. It's really bad here with the cavalry. Anyway, let's go ahead and how many veterans I have? Let's see. 89 veterans in the pool. We're not going to go ahead and use them. I'm just going to use our green, our greenies, our rookies, and that's fine. It doesn't hurt our experience too much. As you can see, when you add rookie soldiers, your experience level will go down, and if it goes down too much, you will lose the perk that you have. So we definitely don't want that to happen. And okay, so it won't happen there. I don't want Loomis taking too much of an efficiency hit, so we'll go ahead and put him at 1,300. Just looking at his weapon. Let's see what else we've got. Oh, this is pretty good. I was just curious. We don't have nearly enough of these M1861s, so we're going to have to swap them out for something else. This is I believe this is a relatively, I think this is like a mid-game, maybe even going into the late game kind of rifle, so we're not going to have very many of those. But we can give them the M1855s. We have plenty of those. So let's do that. And we don't want Walton losing access to that perk, so we'll just put him at 1,150. Artillery I can't mess with. Great. I think our core is looking pretty good here. We'll go ahead. Oh, we need to give ourselves some supply, so I'll put some supply in there. The maximum we can get to right now is 10,000, and this will be useful because all of our units use ammunition, and when they run out of ammunition, they can still fire, but they take a massive reloading penalty. I think they reload 3 times slower, or I guess they reload at 1/3 of the speed, which is pretty bad. So you want to make sure that you're keeping them supplied. Over here, we've got a little button that will allow us to spend reputation in order to get certain items. And so we get, some more of these M1855s. Could get 3-inch guns, could get John Gibbon as a brigadier general. Those are all really cool, but you're spending your reputation in order to do it. And if your reputation is too low, you start taking morale penalties. And so usually I like to stack my reputation. I don't like spending it too much in the early game, because once your reputation hits a certain point, it will give all of your units a morale bonus. And that is what I want. Okay, so I spent a lot of time here. We'll go ahead and look at this side mission here. Your newly formed army is needed urgently for the protection of our supply station near Manassas Railroad Junction. We are evacuating the region, which is very supportive of the Confederates. Our supplies, arms, and ammunition must be secured. So we've got a pretty good reward for winning here. And so we'll take a look at this. So you plug in your core here and my core, and our mission is going to be defend the supply depot. And we'll read a little bit more in detail about what's happening. Okay, so these two are the same. Here we've got another paragraph that says the rebels are desperate to get their hands on more weapons and send troops to attack. The garrison is not enough to stop them. Your mission is to arrive on time and repel the attackers. Well, that's what we're going to do. Okay, I'm going to stop here for today, guys. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave a comment on how I could do better. Would really appreciate the feedback. Feel free to like and subscribe. Appreciate you guys. Okay, have a good one. Bye.